hello. I'm Ksenia. I'm going to be doing some movement with you today as our creative technique because of course there are many ways to express our creativity, and using our bodies in a different way is one of them, but we will incorporate some visual art aspects as well because of course that is what we do here at Artbeat. So as I said, I'm Ksenia. I am currently at Artbeat Studio in the Exchange District. I'm in our pottery room, which is a lot of fun. I had planned to perhaps do some stuff on the floor today, which I will not be doing because we have like clay dust all over the floor. But when you are at home, you can certainly be sitting or crawling on the floor as you desire. I just won't be doing it here. Cool, so we're going to do a little bit of a warm up just to like get our bodies moving and woken up. And then I'm going to introduce a little concept and we'll play with that a little bit, and then we'll just do some relaxing breaths, and hopefully it'll be a nice little half-hour interlude in your afternoon. So let's get started. So I'm gonna come back here where I think we can see most of my body, so that's helpful. I'll move this chair out of the way. So we're just gonna warm up a little bit. You can certainly do this seated if that is what your body needs right now. I'm going to do some stuff standing up, so feel free to follow along to as high a degree as you feel comfortable today. So we're just going to start with some deep breaths. We're going to raise our arms and breathe in and lower them and breathe out, and we're going to let that movement get a little bigger as we go. So let's just do a couple of slow, deep breaths. Here we go. And out. And in again. And out again. Let's try to really stretch our arms so our energy is going past our fingers. In and out. One more, sending that energy out in a big arc. And out. Cool. We're going to make that a little bigger by expanding just a little more and contracting a little more as we breathe out. So we're going to breathe in our whole body and out. And just let yourself bend and fold. In with a stretch, and out with a fold. In with a stretch, and out with a fold. One more, and out. And then we're going to make that even bigger by taking up a little more space. In, oh, and out, truly collapse. And in, and collapse. And one more. And feel free to vocalize on that exhale. Can you tell I went to theater school? We do a lot of sighing and making big noises, and it's all good. So we're just gonna go through our bodies, warming stuff up. If you're doing this later and you've got like some music you wanna put on, that's always a fun thing. I'm not going to, just because with our ventilation system and the live and everything, I'm not sure how my voice will read, but music is absolutely something you can add on your own. So we're just gonna start with our neck. We're gonna look one direction and the other. Whoa, my neck just cracked. So that's why warm-ups are important, kids. Third time, back and over and back. Now we'll tilt and up and tilt, up and tilt, and up and tilt, and up. Now we're going to do a slow half circle. So you never really want to roll your neck backwards. You can really do some bad crunchy things there if you're not prepared for it. We're just going to softly warm up these muscles just in the front. And then we'll look up, extending the back of your neck very gently, and then look down, and up, and down. And let's do that all again. We're looking over one shoulder, and the other, one, other, and tilt, roll halfway. 4 of those. And finally extending and looking up a little, and down, and up, and down. Cool, let's roll our shoulders, roll them back, and down. So we always count things in 8s. So that's how my brain wants to do this. So we're gonna do 8, and 8 forward. Cool, now we're gonna do some reaches up to the sky and then across our body. I tend to try to go through my feet at the same time and sort of wake up all my muscles. If you just wanna use your arms, that's fine. If you're seated, also fine. We're just gonna reach up to the sky. So not just put our hand up, but try to like extend a little bit as well. I'm just gonna move back so I can see my hands. We'll do 8, reaching. Let that, feel that reach all the way down your back. You can feel it all the way towards your hips. Of course, if anything hurts, that is not the object of this. This is just to sort of wake us up from all the sitting that we're probably doing lately. So only go as far as is comfortable, of course. Definitely have lost count. So let's do 2 more, and then we'll reach across our bodies. 8, we'll do 12, just for kicks. 11, 12, cool. If you are standing up, let's move on to our hips. We forget, I think, sometimes how much, especially if you've been working from home or hanging out at home a lot and you're sitting and you don't always do that in your day-to-day life, it really can like tighten up your hip flexors and cause some stiffness. So we're just gonna like shake some of that out, stretch it out, just very gently leaning into each hip. Go 8 more times. Again, I'm stepping into it. You certainly don't have to. You can just like shake the hips around. Cool, and then we'll do some hip circles. 2, 3, 4, and then we'll go the other way. And other hip. And other way. Again, to get in those hip flexors, we're just gonna raise our knees. And if your knee just wants to go there, also cool, that's what your hip flexor needs. Just gonna do some big toe marches. You can turn out a little bit if you want. Straight forward if you want. Just wake up those hip flexors. Just march in place 8 more times. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Cool, and we'll roll out our ankles a little bit if you want to like hold on to a chair or something for balance. Absolutely legitimate. This is another one you can do seated. The hip stuff's a little hard to do seated, but everything else can certainly happen while you're sitting down. Just gonna roll your ankle one way and then the other way a few times. I promise we're not doing like a crazy workout after this. This is more of a wake your body up warm up rather than a like, oh my gosh, you have to warm up or you'll injure yourself thing. And lastly, we're just gonna go through our feet. So let's just, it's like you're standing on tiptoe, but only on one side. Pump through those feet a little bit. And then we'll lift off one heel, and then lift off the toe. Put the toe back, put the heel back. Heel up, toe down, heel down. Up, down, down, up, down, down. And then just shake out anything that needs shaking out. Shake out your legs, shake out your arms, shake out your head a little bit if you want, but please do not like whip your neck around too much. Oh, and there, my ankle cracked. I don't think any of these are showing up on video, but it's just like a lot of popping and cracking over here. Really awesome. Okay, cool. I'm gonna take a sip of water. you're welcome to do that too. All right, so the concept that I'm interested in sharing with you today is called movement paths, and this came to my attention actually. It's something that I've sort of explored in various forms of dance training, but this like specific terminology came to me from my friend Yanita. We used to dance together in Edmonton. She's still out there, so hi Yanita, thank you for letting me adapt your workshop. I'll just give her a quick little plug. She teaches at a studio called Mile Zero Dance. And the reason I mention them is because they have a YouTube page as well. If you'd like to check it out, Yanita has several classes on there with various kinds of movement styles for different grades. But honestly, like I'm not in grade 2, but I have certainly done those activities as well. So you can certainly share those with people in your life, or like give them a watch and give them a little try. There's also a different teacher on there who does like a basic ballet bar warm-up. So I would like to also teach one of those in a few weeks, but if you don't want to wait for me to do it, it's a nice low impact ballet inspired little workout that you might want to check out at Mile Zero Dance. So thanks to you guys for giving us the inspiration for this workshop. Okay, so movement paths. So we in our like adult lives often get really locked into certain types of movement, and it's a lot of like walking from place to place or getting from place to place that we need to be, you know, moving your mouse around if you're working on a computer or something. It's playing on our phones, or using our phones for vital work purposes as well. But we don't explore all the ways that our body is able to move a lot in day-to-day life. So we're going to do a little bit of that now. We're going to do it by looking at different kinds of paths and movement styles. So I think the first one I'm going to start with, and my pages are all out of order, but we're going to start with this kind of movement. So you could think of it as indirect. You could think of it as a curvy movement. So I've drawn this little path, and we can express that in different ways. So a curvy movement could simply be that like, I want to get over there to the chair that's just off camera, but instead of turning and walking towards it, I'm going to walk indirectly in a curvy path. Just as simple as that. So a simple movement that you might do all the time, but along that pathway. But we can also, of course, do this movement with different parts of our body. Maybe my knees are doing curvy movement. Or, I mean, I'm not any kind of breaker, right? But that might be a curvy movement. If you're one of those people who can do like the worm, that would be a curvy movement. And we can certainly do all these types of movements sitting as well with just our upper body, or just an arm, just a finger, just your eyeballs. I don't like super recommend that. I find it makes me dizzy, but hey, if you want to do like some eyeball dancing, I'm here for it. Just a head, just one foot, you know, whatever your body wants to and is able to do. So those are some different ways we can explore curvy movement. Let us take just a few seconds. I'm gonna like do some curvy movement things. You can follow me or you can do your own thing. Just exploring and improvising. The nice thing about this is that I'm not self-conscious because I can't see any of y'all. And you can't see me. So it can be whatever you want, whatever that squiggly shape means to you. Okay, great, thanks for that exploration. Another type of movement is zigzag movement. So we've got like our classic 80s aerobics kind of drags, right? That's a pretty simple zigzag. We can do it with more of our body maybe. Maybe we can do it with our hand leading us. Zig, zag, zig, zag. Again, whatever that means to you, and with whichever body parts you care to use. This is the part where I was like, you can totally like be doing this on the floor, and I'm not because of our play situation. But in your own home, that might be something that you want to try, different levels. A nice simple one would be a direct movement or a straight movement, and that of course can be diagonal or vertical or horizontal. And again, it can just be very simple. We can go forwards and backwards with all types of movement. In straight lines, is it perhaps, you know, straight with my leg and the rest of me follows my arm, you know, follow my arm. And again, seated, we lean in a really straight way, pull one direction or another, put our feet up straight and forward. Make your eyeballs go straight up or straight down. This is what I would maybe, this is a straight head movement, while this is a curvy head movement perhaps. So lots of room for exploration in those as well. So now that we sort of introduced those things, we can also remember that all those types of movements, I did them sort of like quite continuously because they're drawn in like a continuous smooth line, right? So with our curvy movement, I was very smooth in my curves and one continuous big movement. But that could have been a dotted curvy line that I had drawn, right? So how might I do that? Maybe it would be a curve, and then a curve, and then a curve, and then a curve, and then a curve. I don't know. It can be whatever you want it to be, right? So we can do long legato movements or short staccato movements if you are the musical type and those terms mean something to you. So how can we put those together into a movement path? I've got a little example here of like, oh, you know what? I missed a movement type, sorry. This is a really fun one before we get into the path. This is like a circular movement. So of course our most basic circular movement, most of us have done this as little kids, right? A spin, and you know what? As I was prepping for today, I was like, let's explore some circular movement. And I was like, wow, has it been like 15 years since I just like spun around? Don't make yourself dizzy, but like I highly recommend it if you haven't done it for a while. It's very freeing. It can be like a turn, right? We can have all sorts of circular movements. And of course, our arms can be circular. Our legs can be circular. Like a very can-can dancer kind of move there. Our hips, which again, highly recommend if you've been doing a lot of sitting, just do some hip circles. Heads, although we're being very careful of our necks, right? If you're the type that wants to whip your hair around, that's time to do it. Being very careful, again, just why we warm up. Okay, so sorry, back to the movement paths. So I've drawn a fun path here. So I'd love for you to try this with me, either following my movements or making up your own movements. But we're going to do a curvy path, and then a zigzag, and then a broken line that's kind of curvy, and end with circular. I'm gonna move that chair out of the way. I don't think I can prop that up against the camera, so you can watch me move the chair. And then, so we're gonna try curvy, into zigzag, into a broken kind of curvy thing, into circular. So again, you're welcome to like do what I do, knowing of course that I'm just also making it up, and how I feel in the moment, or you can make up your own path. So curvy, zigzag, broken, and circle. So I'm gonna do this standing. I'm gonna go curvy, into zigzag, into something broken, kind of curves around, into some circles. So that's my version of that one. Take your time to do another one. I'm gonna try this seated now because of course some of us might be dancing seated. So why don't you take another look at this, and why don't you try your own version of the same path? Curvy, zigzag, broken or dotted line, and then a spin. Like a circular movement. Let's see how we can maybe explore this seated. I'm gonna use my whole body, but keep my bum in the chair. So I'm gonna try curvy. Zig, zag. And broken. And circular. So that's, I don't know, just one version. And now I'm going to try it as an example of just using the upper half of my body. So you are welcome to grab a chair and also try the same path with your upper half of your body, or try it one more time in whatever shape you would like to do it. So let's see. So the upper half, let's do some curved movements. And zigzag into sharp dotted movements, into circular. So that's my example for that. So our next movement is, I was curious about trying, rather than just a path or a little map, this is where the visual art aspect comes in. I was curious if I could dance or move a picture. So I drew like this quick little picture of a flower using some different kinds of lines. So again, if you would like to follow along with my flower, you may. If you have some paper and a writing utensil, now would be a good time to grab it, and you can draw either your own pathway or your own little doodle, your own picture, or something else that I thought was really potentially cool. There have been so many great art workshops over the last few weeks, especially. I know people have been doing landscapes and things like that. Maybe grab another piece of your art and let's see if we can do movement along a landscape, or along a portrait, or along something you've already created with some form of line in it. So I'm gonna get a sip of water, and I'm gonna give you a minute to either grab something to make a doodle with, or to grab a piece of art that you've already got. This video is just a lot of my torso hanging out at corners of the frame. I will not win any prizes for film editing on this one. Okay. If I'm going too fast, of course, take some time and make your doodle or whatever as you like. But I'm going to try to move along this flower. So I've got some curvy lines that sort of exist independently from each other. So maybe each of these is its own curvy movement segment. I've got some dots and broken up lines in there. I've got a long line that is a little curved, but I'm going to maybe say it's a straighter, more direct kind of path with things shooting off of it. So you could, of course, go about this many ways. I could pretend that I had paint on the bottom of my shoes and try to walk the path of this shape if it was drawn on the floor, which could be really fun. I think, though, I'm just going to keep the image of this doodle in my head and just try to create movement of the different lines and things, and not worry about the path on the floor necessarily. But you are absolutely welcome to think of this as a bird's eye view of a path with imaginary paint on your shoes. I'm not going to tell you to go put paint on your shoes, but I'm not saying that wouldn't be a fun thing to do in the summer sometime. Or in the snow. Can you imagine if you were out in the snow and you could use your footprints to create a big shape like that? Maybe that's a future workshop opportunity. So circling back, take your image or your doodle or your art or whatever you have, or if you want to imagine this flower, that's cool. Put it in your brain and think about whether you're going to try to create this path on the floor or just create movements inspired by it. So I've got some broken lines or dots, some curvy line segments, a long, like direct, almost straight line, and then some offshoots. So for me, and you're welcome to watch and dance along, or to like just ignore me and do your own thing. This is what my flower is going to look like, I think. And that was my interpretive dance of a flower doodle. But I didn't watch myself, which was great and very freeing. I highly recommend you not paying attention to what you actually look like. And I will not be watching this video later for that exact purpose, so hopefully it's doing okay. Cool. So I've kept you long enough. So of course these are all things that you can do on your own time in whatever way you like. You can certainly watch the video again. You can turn off the video, make your own movement path, or make your own drawing, or do movement to your own art, in whatever way makes you happy. So we're just going to do a little bit of a cool down and end to our workshop now at this point. So again, seated is fine. I'm going to stand up. We're going to do those breaths that we started with. We're going to start with those bigger ones that take up space and really collapse. And again, feel free to vocalize on the exhale with a big sigh. Then we're going to take them back to just with an extra large reach. And then we're going to stand still and do breaths on the spot. Let's do 4 of each. And then we'll just do a nice little roll down to end. So big breaths, taking up lots of space. In. One more. And then just stretching, bending, folding. Bring your feet a little more together, nice and grounded. We'll send that energy out through our fingertips and through the top of our head. And we're just going to roll down, fold in the middle. Some of us may get to here, some of us may get all the way down to the ground. Wherever works for you. Don't whip yourself down like that, though. It's not very calming. So let's just take 8 counts and roll down. So we'll 5, 6, 7. Start at the top of your head. Roll. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just folding at the waist to wherever you're comfy. If you can, let your neck go. Don't hold tension in your neck. Let your head be heavy and let it pull you down. If you feel like falling forward, that's what your hands are for, to catch you. And again, you can certainly do this seated. You can hold on to something if you need it. Just gonna hang here. If you're hanging down quite low, take your, I don't know if you can see me, yes you can. Take your hands and hold on to your elbows and let that weight sort of hold you down even further. So it's just a nice stretch for our spine and our neck. They get to be in the opposite direction that they usually are. Make sure you're not locking your knees back all the way. Put a little bend in your knees. Certainly don't want anyone toppling over. Just take a few deep breaths as you're hanging there. Okay, and on your own time, we're gonna roll up. So we're gonna try and go vertebrae by vertebrae, vertebra by vertebra, I guess, technically. So you're just coming up in little increments, or you go very slowly. Bend your knees to start. On your own time, you don't have to come up at the same time as me. Get to your shoulders, and get to your neck. And your head's the last thing to come up. Make sure not to do it too fast. We've been down there for a little while. So you don't want a head rush. Don't want all that blood come to your head. All right, just shake out very gently again, those legs and those arms. Okay, thanks everybody. Thanks for joining me for this exploration of movement paths. It was a really nice way for me to wake up and connect with my body and think about things in a different way, so I hope it did that for you as well. Thank you, Yanita, for introducing me to a movement path workshop idea. Thank you to everyone who participated, and hope to see you again very soon. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay home if you can. Thank you.